Hello, everyone. Welcome to Trench Talk with me, Lek, and Fonzie, back for the first time in like 2 or 3 years.
Hello, good people.
I,
Good.
it is so good for you to be back. It's crazy. It's been a long time. Uh, was not sure, but I think Airborne's brought back a lot of different people. So Fonzie, without cutting any of the bullshit, let's just get straight into it. Today, welcome everyone. We're gonna just be talking a little bit about what's happened while Fonzie has been gone. He's obviously been playing a little bit. He's not just come back and said, "Hey, Lek, let's record a trench talk immediately." But for our purposes here, I thought we'd just do like a little episode. He reached out, he wanted to do one. I figured, hey, that's a good idea, and so that's what we're doing today. We are tell us, Mr. Fonzie, what was the last thing you remember, and what is the craziest thing, or what's been your experience like getting caught up with the game as it is today versus the game you remember?
So a lot of it, I mean, Foxhole is very much different as it is the same, if that makes sense, right? Like the core elements of Foxhole have like always sort of like, I mean, they've changed and they differed a little bit, like with uh like the difference between like introducing like uh like facilities going into uh just like different aspects of logistics, right? Like I mean, it's it hasn't changed all that much. There are like a few different things besides like airplanes, of course, here too, right? But it's I remember last time I seriously played Foxhole was the 1.0 war and I believe War 100. So it's been like 38 or something wars since I've played. What war are we on now for Able? Like war.
133, I
Okay, so it's
think.
been like 33 wars since I've last played too.
Holy
So
shit.
it's like
Yeah.
yeah, I mean I took a pretty hefty break from Foxhole too just cuz I mean there was like burnout and I really wasn't all that interested, but like it the bug bit me again recently. Like I've been tanking, I've been flying planes and stuff here too, and I just got to say, I mean, like Foxhole is a very as much as the community gets like shit, the community is great as well too. Like I still have people, as I was gone, Lek included here, like would check in on me and stuff like that. And Foxhole is, I mean, I very much appreciate that aspect of it, where there are like a lot of like I would say that I've made like a lot of really good online friends through Foxhole and stuff too. And that's one of the things that really hasn't changed about Foxhole is that the social aspect is very, I mean, it's very cool. You meet a ton of different people from a ton of different parts of the world and things like that. I mean, like the Russian population, the Chinese population, European, American, all across. I mean, there are really, really cool people in Foxhole. Now, in regards to stuff that has changed, the big one when people were telling me that bunker bases can be breached now, I don't know what the fuck that means. When people say, "Oh, it's breached," I just keep shooting at it, man. That's it. I just keep slinging 40 to 40 millimeter shells or 30 millimeter shells at bunker bases until they explode. Like I don't understand that mechanic.
You've
I don't.
never seen it? You didn't get a rundown
No,
on it?
no, there's no no, there's no visual difference to me what a breach is versus just continuously shooting at it constantly. But that also might be because I play on all low graphics too. You know what I mean? Because when I started
No,
playing
there's
Foxhole,
I play on
oh,
medium and I still see a
did
difference,
you?
but
It's just yeah. I mean, it's very funny because like, so Foxhole is also like a very nostalgic game to me too because I've played this game since I was like 14 or 15 years old. I'm 24 years old now, so it's I've played it for like close to a good 10 years now, on and off here, and you know, Foxhole's like when I turn the graphics up because I do have like now that I'm like an adult with a job, I can actually like afford like a gaming PC and stuff too. So seeing the difference between like what Foxhole looks like on Ultra versus what Foxhole looks like on low, it's a completely different game. And I prefer Foxhole on low because it reminds me of like that the times when I was like playing on a shitty Toshiba gaming laptop
Yeah.
with a single core processor and shit, man. Those were the days. But yeah,
I think
hmm,
I was gonna say, uh, there's a it's a definitely like a bit of catching up you got to do with regards to like what the fuck is going on regarding like yeah, breaching is a good one. That one
yeah,
though is pretty recent in terms of like when it happened. Like it's only been with us for 7 months now, and the
yeah,
game's been pretty low activity during that period. Like it's not like there's been to catch you up on some things. A lot of the craziest wars that have happened uh in my memory, while the breaching war was one of those like kind of crazy wars, I'd say it was kind of the only major war of 2025 where in where as a disparity, right? 2024 had a lot of crazy wars. Like there was
mhm,
because 2023 was the naval update in the late 2023, and then you had the naval update where wardens got like the torp buff, and colonials got their submarine, and eventually like and all of this stuff sort of came to a head, and then they tried to do 5x facilities, which was a crazy fucking war. It is probably the
yeah.
craziest war that you've missed. Have you heard anything about what that war was, or?
No, no, I have no clue. I also will say I have so my only interaction with naval combat was I jumped in a random destroyer with a bunch of buddies and we like I commanded it and I sunk a battleship with it, a warden battleship, and that was a lot of fun. But I haven't like I have not interacted with like well, the Warden submarine because I primarily play Colonial. I've never interacted with the Naki and I've never interacted with the Trident. So when I see people like whining about balance and stuff with them, I have no clue what any of that means either.
Oh
I don't
god,
really
yeah.
interact with naval stuff too. I mean beyond like gunboats and like Striders this war have been I will say Striders have been a lot of fucking fun.
I don't know
And
how to
medium boats too.
explain to you naval balance. That's fuck. How would I even go about trying to
Is it
begin?
okay? Is it like I get it that it's like I mean it's important for like coastal bombardments and stuff. Well, I get I was gonna say well does it really matter in the first place? But I take that back because yes, it definitely does matter from what I remember. With naval like the big ships especially too. So I'm curious to see like because I don't really I don't know I'm like a meathead tanker, so it's not like
So to describe naval to you in a word, you remember the days of it being 90% LARP, and I would say
yeah.
by and large, that's still true most of the
Hmm.
time. However, the thing that you get out of naval is, like you're saying, shore bombardment, but more specifically, it's like a sort of alternate wind condition where when you get like before this update and the new map, the signature move would have been for wardens to take the eastern continent via fingers and then push in and then have total control and be able to land a bluefin, which is basically just like a mobile seaport directly on the front line, and then just
Yeah.
like, yeah, you can imagine how powerful that is in
Well,
terms of
yeah.
like putting pressure on like a lane, right? You kind of can't deal with the pressure when you get like a new front so far into your back line, right?
Yeah, and it's also, putting pressure on logistics players and things like that. I mean, that is just core Foxhole when it comes because when okay, naval invasions because I'm still a little bit stuck in the old school naval invasions where you landed a landing ship on a coast and you landed people with like APCs beforehand to like wrench mines and or you didn't even use APCs really. It was just all barges you brought up to just barges full of fucking people and things. But I know that has changed
Nope, not really.
significantly. Has that really not changed at all?
so
What the fuck?
so naval landings are still really fucking weird, okay?
Hmm.
So there's a new ship called the Long. I say new. All of this stuff is
Yeah.
2.5 years old, okay?
Yeah. I'm familiar with like the long hook and stuff like that, like
Okay.
the those ones. Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
you've seen all the
Yeah.
ships, you just don't know what. Okay, so
Yeah.
the long hook has you're aware of the little dinghies that it makes that are like mini barges?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The little landing craft
Yeah,
that
the
they
thing
fucking
is,
bring up
right?
there.
Those can hold light tanks, but
Uh-huh.
when before you played, do you remember light tanks being meta at all?
I wouldn't say. I mean, I remember the Kreneska being like very, very fucking good, and the Kreneska being like one of my favorite tanks. I don't know if I would call light tanks meta when I played. I mean, because they just they can blow up very easy, but they are very good though too. Like you should not snooze on like hatchets or devets because they are very maneuverable. They are very strong vehicles, but
Yeah, but
I don't know if I'd call them meta though.
so the problem is that in a naval invasion, right? You don't really care about maneuvering because you're just kind of like trying to brute
Yeah.
force a hard point, right? And you
Yeah.
can't really do that when you're packing just like light tanks. You kind of need
No.
something
Yeah.
with a bit more oomph to it, right?
Yeah.
And so a big thing that like yeah, that doesn't really do the job in terms of what you call it, like that doesn't do the job in terms of like getting you out or a successful naval landing. The biggest thing you'll notice if you ever watch a successful naval landing prior to this update, because we don't know what it looks like this update, is it'll be a lot of submarines taking advantage of or taking like initiative and sinking a lot of enemy ships and camping a lot of bridges to restrict the ability of the enemy navy to come out and fight, and
Yeah.
then a battleship coming in and destroying all the like the coastal stuff so that you can then sort of like come in at a later time when the enemy is asleep and then brute force blitz to like a relic or some kind of world spawn, and then just like repeatedly do like low pop PvE attacks until you can establish enough of a foothold that when the enemy tries to respond and you do like a full-fledged invasion, the enemy won't have enough like actual meaningful hard points that they can like mount a quick response out of to flush you back to the sea. Because if you remember, a lot of the time that naval QRF happens, it'll look like a bunch of tanks bum rushing towards like wherever the
Yeah.
landing
Yeah.
site
Wherever
is,
the
right?
landing. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. That
That
is.
that doesn't exactly like that's still the main counter. So it's like all about taking ground that you can successfully stage out of, or rather that the enemy can't prevent you from holding, right?
Yeah.
It's really tough like to
So
talk about though because for the most part, Naval has been quite, yeah, shocker. I don't think Naval is balanced. I think 90% of the rest of the game is balanced, apart from like some issues here and there, like Cutler aiming still sucks. But the Naki is a very, very strong submarine, but it's kind of funny. The bane of colonial naval has now been outclassed by an even stronger like new content piece of the torp bomber, which is likely or rather expected to just sort of completely shut down colonial's ability to do naval in the late game. But we're gonna have to wait and see. We haven't obviously gotten there yet, but given
yeah.
how relatively easy the torp bomber is to use, I wouldn't expect I wouldn't expect to see colonials spend much time on large ships. I do think that there's a new possibility of spamming out smaller stuff with the new BMAT boats and whatnot, but it's going to be really hard
So
to see where the meta develops from here.
my, uh, I really, yeah, I don't think we can really say until like we see torpedo bombers out in the field because it's also like the colonial fighter from what I've heard. So I've only flown scout planes so far. I've gotten in dogfights with the scout planes, and I just got to say, as much as like people like it's a miracle they got fucking planes working as well that they did in this game. You know what I mean? I remember when like this game only had trucks and half tracks for vehicles, right? So it's
Yeah.
like just seeing how this how the devs have developed this and just how they've I mean they've just made something thought impossible possible. It's probably one of the well coolest things I've ever fucking seen. You know, like I mean, I know people have been like shitting on it and things too, but I mean, the flight model, like it feels decent. Like I do enjoy flying around like the back line and stuff here too. I do enjoy like I don't know, flying around on the front line, and I do sometimes enjoy dogfights, even though I'm like I'll be honest with you, like I am not built for this pilot shit, dude. I'm like 5 and I'm probably like 5 and 13 in scout planes right now, man.
Oh
It's like
no.
yeah, I'm like
Oh
ass at
no.
I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. I am ass in scout planes. That's
Uh,
not including that's not all from this live. That's including Dev Branch as well, because I did fuck around on
okay.
Dev Branch a little bit. But yeah, I mean it's the because I see a lot of people complain about the Colonial Scout plane being worse or whatever. I don't know how valid
I'll
all of
say
that is.
this. Having taken a look at it, I think it's weird because I think that the data mine that people were looking at, I don't know if you saw this drama. People
Mhm.
had data mined that there was some weird last minute like change which the
Yeah,
devs claimed was a bug fix. So,
yeah,
for various reasons, I think the devs are telling the truth that it's a bug fix and it shouldn't impact the like actual performance of the vehicle. But I think the video evidence kind of shows that the Warden Scout plane does have a better turning thing, or at least the one video did. The weird thing is that I think unless I sat down with the two planes side by side, it'd be hard to come to the like exact conclusion. But I will say this. I think that people are way overblowing the impact of that disparity if that disparity that was shown in the video is true. Because at the end of the day, this isn't like the Naki Trident where the actual physical characteristics of it are so horrifically like different in terms of like, oh, one is a much bigger target, one has a bigger sonar signature, one has a worse maneuverability, one has the ability to like just circumvent mines easier, one had like there's a million different things that made the Naki better in most scenarios where the Trident's one like redeeming quality was its gimmick of shoving 30 guys with stickies inside. But like with the scout planes, by and large, the stats are pretty much close enough that it's not really that big a deal. Like,
yeah.
I think if people want to complain that it's not equivalent and it should be like directly equivalent, I think that's true. But also, scout planes are just a numbers game, and there's enough skill involved that I think people are overstating the level of impact way too much.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I think like I think I don't know, man. To be honest with you, people you give a mouse a cookie in Foxhole, people are gonna fucking cope regardless, or they're just gonna bitch and want to. I
Yeah.
mean that's the truth though, man. Like it's with anything, dude. And yeah, I mean people will say it's one faction or the other faction. I mean it's like I think Ulted put it very well. My buddy Ulted, he was like when you're outside of the Foxhole community and you're seeing people argue, it's like watching like Indian and Pakistan nationalists argue on Twitter and shit like that. Like you're so detached from it that it's just like, dude, what the fuck are you guys talking about? And it's like, well, of course I've fallen victim to like the whole factionalism like thing too, but it's also just like, dude, you can't like at some point it's like I mean each faction has like tools for whatever. You know what I mean? Like colonials have lunaires, fucking wardens have what's it called? Wardens have
Cutler?
Cutlers and yeah, and it's like Colonials have a push 250 now. You know, Wardens have a fucking Bane, or not a Bane, sorry, like a Venom equivalent now too. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like I mean, it's like really I don't really know how bad the disparity is. I mean, both factions have their sort of like play styles, and both yeah, I mean both are pretty like not it's not horrible. I don't think like it's been bad in the past, but like as the game's gotten more and more flushed out, I feel like it's. The thing is though is yeah, like
I
again,
mean, you're
people
not gonna
will
find me
if people
disagreeing.
yeah, if you find people, you know, people will find anything to bitch about, and it's like one of the things is like okay, so I was talking to some friends about this a little while ago, um and I was talking about how like it is like an absolute like it's crazy that they've just kept developing this game too. Like you know I was initially I wasn't gonna buy like the Foxhole like supporter pack or anything there too. I was like I really was just interested in the art book and everything, and like I read like I read through it and just like the amount of passion the devs have like put in, the amount of time they've like sunk into, because it's like, I mean, they could have been like shitty, you know what I mean, and like sold their engine, sold like microtransactions and shit like that, gone like a very like pay pig sort of like route with the game.
I think
And they
that's
didn't.
no, that's
Like
something
it,
they've always like
yeah,
said, right? They
been
sort of
very
do the
against.
virtue
Yeah,
signal about it, but like I
yeah,
think for good reason. They like it's
yeah,
it's fine for them to signal that they don't do the microtransaction things because at the end of the day, they believe that it like comes out at the end a better product, right? And for as much as
yeah,
people want to like claim that there's bias or whatever, yada yada yada, like I think that there's bias on individual devs, but like in the overall product, I think you gotta take a step back and breathe. Because like at the end of the day, right? I think that there's a lot. Oftentimes, people mistake the idea that because an argument has merit, that it is the only perspective that matters, which is what gets people into that kind of factionalist brain rot type thing, right? Where people will say like, "Oh, the Lunaire's like bonkers strong because X, Y, and Z, and the Cutler sucks because of the like wire fence thing. Therefore, the devs hate wardens, right?" And it's like, no, the devs don't hate wardens. There is truth to the fact that the wire fence thing or the Cutler's aiming like suck, right? But then if you look on the flip side, right, look at the fucking Naki or you look at the HTD for a while. Obviously, like you can say like I think
oh,
like most of the ground stuff is like 90% like coherent in terms of
yeah.
balancing, right?
I agree. Yeah,
There was one thing that did get changed in during Dev Branch, which was the alligator charge is now a heavy item or a large item because of the fact that there was going to be a paratrooper discrepancy. I think
yeah,
what ultimately a lot of the like from the main difference from 3 years ago, back when you and I were doing this originally, was that back in the day, Foxhole just had less content, so there were less balancing levers to pull, and there's just more stuff. So the chances that one piece of content is totally overpowered, Booker, Cough, uh, it's less likely, and it's way easier for things to be brought in line because even if something gets over nerfed, there's always other options available these days.
yeah. And here's looking at you, Julian, you warden biased fuck. No, I'm just joking.
Julian, Julian, Julian made a terrible decision naming that fucking rifle after his dog.
Did he really? Dude, I've always so
He
I made
has
a
a
joke about
greyhound
uh,
dog, and that
oh
he named Booker, and
Booker
that's
and
where the
that
name
rifle.
of the
Dude.
gun comes from.
Yeah, well, there you go. See? That we just proved Julian's fucking warden bias right there, man. So, I mean, it's over.
I mean,
But
Julian is like warden biased, but
bias.
that's I think he'd say that openly.
What do you think so?
I
I don't
think
know.
I think it's happened before that. Yeah, I mean, there's other devs who I'd call like colonial biased or whatever, but
Oh yeah, who would you say is colonial biased as the devs? I'm curious about this.
uh,
I would hear.
okay, it probably like Phil. I don't know if anyone
You think
knows who that
Phil?
is though.
Oh. Oh yeah, Phil does have a colonial as his profile picture. I'm
And
just gonna.
he
I'd say
was like a longtime colonial player, but he doesn't play
yeah.
nearly as much. Like he was in a colonial clan and he played colonials and yada yada, but he didn't like go as crazy or whatever.
Well, I'd honestly, so I have a story about Mark here too, Mark Foot.
Oh, Mark?
So yeah, Mark. So I would argue that yeah, Mark is collie biased, just or colonial biased rather. Just because he's fucking. So when okay,
I
this is
think I
gonna
would agree with
age me
you,
here.
but only
This
because
is
yeah,
this is gonna age me here. This story. So when battle tanks back in the day, so to make like battle tanks, you needed to spend these things called tech parts, which they're pretty much like imagine if for like when you're
imagine if
scrapping
the yeah, aluminum or
yeah
iron were needed to build your tank. Yeah.
yeah and so imagine if aluminum or iron were needed to build your tank here. If that were the case, you needed 40 pieces of aluminum or iron to build a battle tank back in the day here. So what I would do, because I was a little rat, is I would get what I would do is I'd go around and I would wrench like I would go around and I would wrench like trucks and shit at scrap fields and things like that. And I think Mark was like I saw the name Mark Foot, second lieutenant back in the day here, and Mark like and I ran up to him in the scrap field and I started wrenching his fucking truck to and he was gonna donate to the Fonzie Battle Tank Fund.
Yeah.
Because I was a homeless man had no who had no money at the time either. Or had not no money, but no tech parts or anything. Run up, wrench his truck, and he goes up to me, and I hear him. He goes, "Hey, that's my truck," and "Oh, hey, man, sorry, I'm doing tech quartermaster stuff for the team." And then he's like, "Oh yeah, sure, man, take these tech parts here," and he fucking gave me like 2 or 3 tech parts, and I drove off in my LUV,
And you
and
know it was Mark?
yeah. Yeah, I knew it was Mark because his name was Mark Foot. It was Mark Foot, second lieutenant, and it sounded just like him, man. Like it
Oh.
was, it was insane, man. Because he was in there just like scrapping, and it did like click with me at the time until I was like older and like more in tune with the
When
community. I
the
was like,
fuck?
oh shit, that was
Jesus, was this
fucking
for the first
yeah.
battle tank that you did, or was this for a different
No,
one?
no, it was right after like Battle Tanks came out like initially. You know what I mean? So it wasn't
Was it in that
it
opening
wasn't.
war, or was this another war?
No, no, no. This was another war. But I,
Okay.
I think what he was doing is he was testing the logistics loop. Like he was being a good dev and test because he was
Yeah.
like he was just out there scrapping, and it's like I imagine that he would have better things to do with his day than fucking like scrap. You know what I mean? But
Yep. Yep.
yeah.
Uh, good guy, Mark. Good
So
guy.
yeah, Mark is a chill dude. I mean, all of them are pretty like chill. Um, I don't. Luckily, there've never been any like Foxhole dev crash outs. I mean, people will say like KFC, but like, yeah, I don't know, dude.
I
KFC's
don't
like a
think
chill dude
I
too.
don't think I would ever say
So,
Crazy's had a crash out. That is
yeah.
not the criticism that
Well,
I often
okay.
hear against Crazy, but
I don't know if you ask certain vets from
oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
back in the
yeah, yeah.
day, certain
Yeah, we
vets,
know.
back in the
Dude,
day.
Foxhole like 5, 6 years ago. We don't need to think about that.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
that's
already
bad,
crazy
dude.
enough as it is today. But
Hmm.
so you missed like the last 30 wars. I wanted to briefly,
Yeah.
because we briefly mentioned it. Mark Foot Mondays. You've never heard that term.
No, what the fuck is a Markfoot Monday, man?
So there was
Has our podcast been replaced? Is that the new
no, no,
dev
no,
podcast?
no.
Oh, no? Okay.
I would get Mark on, but he's very busy. Uh,
That would be pretty sick. We should do that.
I highly doubt it would ever happen these days. He is like way
Yeah.
busier. Okay. Um,
Hey, Mark, any of the devs, if you for some chance listen to this,
I could get a
I'm
dev.
writing this
I
right
could
now.
get a dev on,
Oh,
but I
yeah.
don't
Oh,
think I
that'd
could
be
get Mark on. Mark is
Markfoot. Yeah.
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 No, I'll say Markfoot Mondays was a joke that happened because do you notice how when you go up to a facility now, there's like 5 slots that you can make for queues?
Uh,
Or have
okay,
you
let
not?
me.
You haven't been to a facility.
No, dude, listen, man, I'm
You're not a
a
fact rat.
frontliner,
You're
dude.
a
No, I am not. Yeah, I'm a goddamn frontliner. Everything is handed to me on a silver platter.
yep.
Thankfully, I appreciate the the
Don't worry. I too
Psalm
am
facility
a
people.
greedy frontliner.
Yeah.
But anyway, basically, you remember how back in the day it was like 45 seconds for a 120 shell or something?
Yeah, something like that. I know what you mean. Yeah, like
So
the
Markfoot Mondays was the devs basically said, hey, we don't like that facilities are all privatized. We want to add like queue slots to all the facilities so you're incentivized to like work with other players and make public facilities, right?
yeah.
Uh what they didn't do was they didn't rebalance the actual timers on any of the facilities.
Mhm.
So all of the facilities basically just overnight in a single update got 5x the output.
Okay. Wow. So they just got fucking
Yeah.
Jesus
Do
Christ.
you were
Well,
broken components a thing at the time that you last played?
yes, broken components were, and so that means what? Like our
So
mats were just like getting fucking shed out the wazoo, or
if you want a like a frame of reference, there was
Mhm.
functionally unlimited oil everywhere. Everyone
That's
just made
awesome.
pipelines. If you had oil in a component region, you would directly do broken comps to the point where you would have an output somewhere in like, again, 5 times the output basically overnight. The capacity of the sheer like volume of armats was measured not in like like an actual number. It was, oh yeah, we need to do our 5th train of just like ballistas so that we can do more rushes. Like,
Yeah.
I there was a day I was in 141 at the time where Hyperconnect, my good Australian buddy, uh, basically we had to do like 5 trains of nothing but ballistic rates, as well as like 10 total trains because of all the 250 ammo. We ran out of 250 ammo. It was that bad. Like, we would bring up 45 like ballistas at a time, right? Like 15 per train or whatever. And from this, you'd get like 2 or 3 rushes per train. And then,
Hmm.
like, so we did, I want to say, like 10 ballista rushes all in the matter of like a couple hours. It was like you were just the resources no longer mattered. The only thing that mattered was just like how long can you just spam out one shitty vehicle. It
Yeah.
was comical levels of spam. It
Hmm.
was the funniest war that you will ever have seen because there's not really scarcity in modern Foxhole. There's just like time gating on some things.
Yeah.
Just imagine for a minute how absurd. Like, we already can output like hundreds of mediums a day. We are talking like, again, 5x the output of what we had previously.
Like
Like,
3,000 fucking spathas and shit like that. Okay, yeah, I get. Or else
yeah,
spathas are a bad example, but like
it was
tons of
dumb.
BTs and shit. But
It was
wow, that,
so dumb, but it was
yeah,
so
that it
funny.
is. So it is like, because I have I don't know how. So I'm very I'm of the opinion that like shit should be like easy come easy go, but there is like a limit. You know what I mean to like how? Because
Well,
otherwise, like
yeah,
every front's gonna have like BTs, and it's gonna be very oppressing to infantry
that's
and
why
stuff
there's
like that. Because like,
are you familiar with
but
rare mats?
yes, I am familiar with rare mats. I've been talking because so I've been wanting to the one plane I or well the 2 planes I really want to use. I want to use the paratrooper plane. So so if I was unemployed and I had unlimited time in the world, let's say I had $6 billion. After solving world hunger, I would hop on Foxhole, build a facility, and then just LARP drop people out of parachutes all day. Like get just randoms and fucking dump them off on like in the rear and things like that in a paratrooper plane constantly. But it's like sadly it's not the case. But it is like that looks like a lot of fun. But I also want to use a dive bomber. I want to get really fucking good with the Colonial Dive Bomber because that looks like it's a lot of fun to just like drop on. What's not even like targeting tanks, like targeting heavy trucks and shit like that. Look like you know what I mean? It looks like a blast.
The
But
funny thing is, heavy trucks are actually more vulnerable to scout planes than they
are
are.
you serious? That's
Well,
so funny.
the funny thing is, the heavy truck resistance to scout plane ammo is the exact same as normal trucks is. The only difference
Wow.
is that heavy trucks have like 200 more HP.
Are you? Oh, okay. Wow. Huh.
So
So I
yeah,
guess you're probably better off just machine gunning them then.
yeah. I mean, the thing is, if you've done any amount of like scout plane stuff, though, you might have noticed that like it's a little larpy, the like frontline
Yeah.
strafing thing,
Yeah.
because the damage has been kind of neutered a lot. Like, I think I almost feel like they should like lower scout planes or increase scout plane damage against like light armor stuff again, or like,
No. Like I want to find the next Warden Scout plane pilot who strafes the back of my HT and fucking wring his neck, man. That was I was pushing Mercy's wish last night, dude. Constantly, it was fucking constant getting my gunner decrewed, and it's just like I mean, it just goes to show like how important like air superiority actually like is in Foxhole, because
I
it's like man,
actually
do you
I
know how fucking annoying that is when your gunner gets killed off? Because usually
I
like
know
when
what you're talking about. I feel like the most relevant thing scout planes are doing at the moment is, well, scouting, but also just like anti-partisan, because I feel like I've not seen scout planes do much. Like, as an example, in Craw, Craw, we were pushing the
Yeah.
Eastern continent, right?
Mm.
So many WN fucking scout planes in the air. We just brought up like a couple pieces of flak and some EMGs, and like problem solved. We would just like thwack them out of the air. Like they were annoying, but like probably just a complete waste of time doing that versus, I don't know, anything productive, right? I think at most you really just want like one in the sky for spotting for arty or something, right? Like
Mm.
there's just not really that much
Well,
utility out of it, I don't feel.
well, the thing is it's like your arty crews can get like strafed and stuff too, and that's really fucking annoying if you don't have like dedicated people on AA or flat guns ready too. And it's not like I mean flat guns are like easy to use, but they're also like really heavy on the RNG too because of the spread. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah,
it's not guaranteed that you're gonna like kill a scout plane in one hit. I mean there's a good chance, but
well,
it's
no,
also not guaranteed too. So
the way it works is you'll never one shot a plane. It has nothing to do with RNG on damage rolls or anything. It's
well,
purely they don't have enough damage to one shot a scout plane.
my point, what I mean with that though, Lek, is that like scout planes usually when they're flying around, a vast majority of the time
They're
have
gonna
already
take
taken a
damage. I
little
get.
bit of damage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So
Okay,
so
yeah. No, if you
that's
hit or
that's
not is a
yeah,
lot of RNG.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it is
But
certainly one of the most random like aspects of the game.
oh, dude, I killed a scout plane in my 30 millimeter tankette last night. Or my gunner did
Oh
rather. I
yeah,
told him to. Yeah, we got strafed, and I might have to send you that clip here, but we got strafed, and I told him to shoot him, and
I
he
saw
fucking
I saw Teep
nailed
do
it.
that
Yeah, yeah.
last night where it was on the Silicon front and there was a 30 mil half track just like blasting Warden scout planes out of the sky as they'd come to strafe the bunker core.
Yeah, I mean, it's so fun. Well, the thing is, it's really funny. Just like the ghetto AA people have like invented, where I start to see people, they start playing fucking Fortnite with their hammers and watchtowers. Watchtower
the
blueprints start
watch
going up too
the
when
watchtower
people are
power
strafing.
pole,
It's
yeah. The
yeah.
watchtower power pole
Uh,
shit is incredibly funny to me.
it's funny, but it's so fucking stupid though to
It
see,
is.
man. Because it's like
It reminds me a lot of that moment. Do you remember like the moment people like thought of the watchtowers against storm cannon thing? You remember
yeah,
that,
yeah.
right?
I do
Sure.
remember
Yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah.
Like it's to me in my mind it's sort of like a similar like space, I guess, right? Like
Mhm.
it's dumb. It probably shouldn't work that way,
Yeah.
but you know
Yeah.
what? It's fine.
Yeah, I mean it is just funny in the end. I mean, I'm sure they'll figure out a way to patch it out, but it's well, who cares? It is Foxhole. The thing is that Foxhole is a game that it's jank, but it's got a lot of janky soul, if that makes sense too,
Oh
as
yeah.
well. It's very, I
Everyone
mean, I fucking
loves the jank.
yeah. I mean, it sucks sometimes when the jank gets you killed, but it is just very funny to see. Like, I don't know, there's something just funny about like when people like slapstick fly ragdoll out of trenches and stuff when they're
I had
killed
a
and things like that. Like,
I had a moment recently where I just came in for a landing on an airstrip and my plane touched its wheel to the floor and instantly exploded.
that's awesome, dude. That
Yeah.
no, that fucking sucks.
No, it's
Oh,
really funny, but it's also tilting as fuck because I can laugh about it in retrospect, but I logged off that night and did not log on for like another day.
yeah, yeah, dude. I would be pretty salty about that too. Um,
I will say, here is my weird feeling about planes at the moment. I feel like scout planes are really impactful in the amount of mainly like the warden one is way better at affecting naval than ours is.
mhm,
Because it I think it carries, what was it? It carries 2000 damage versus 1850. It's like it's
yeah.
close, but it's more so just that the Warden Scout plane is way easier to use for
Mhm.
the torps that it's got because you don't have to land them right on top of your target. You can just like send it at a distance. Um, Also, you're more likely to I believe you're more likely to disable in one go because you're dealing 1,000 damage versus 650 in one shot or whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and it's one of those things of like I I feel like the scout planes just aren't that impactful outside of scouting and strafing occasionally, right?
Hmm.
Or
No,
just
I
like strafing
yeah.
partisans
There so
because
uh, well, I think we both say this too as frontliners. Like we both are self-admitted frontliners. Like, dude, if I'm a Logi player and I'm constantly getting strafed, like I get the bitching, but it's also like it is a war game, bro. You know what I mean? Like
I
it's like
mean
I get
I'm
it,
not I
but
don't even think Logi players
it,
are getting strafed that much. Like if I thought about what scout planes were before they got changed, that would have been fucking terrifying, okay?
yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't feel like I've seen much of any scout plane strafing. Like, I feel like I've seen more conventional. Well, obviously, you'll see more conventional partisans, but what I mean to say is that, like, I cannot count a single time I've seen a scout plane strafing Logi.
Hmm.
I've
I've
seen,
seen it.
like, if you want to talk water Logi, absolutely, but conventional Logi, not once.
Oh, dude. My favorite thing here, a little bit off topic. So I was playing in a scout plane earlier, like this week too, and I was fucking around with some of the SOM guys in scout planes, and we were doing so we've invented the. It's just very funny the method of like when we go in for like dive bombing, warden boats and stuff like that. There's the you have to go at it just because it's like funny to make fun of Americans being an American saying Americans only understand like food stuff, so you have to tell them hot dog style, not hamburger, when they're going at boats because they don't get what you mean when you say long way versus like the short way of boats and shit like that. So we just call it hot dog style bobbing boats and shit like that too. But it's just like, oh
Maybe
man,
my
the
non-American brain doesn't
it
understand the
doesn't
food analogy.
comprehend hot dog versus hamburger style, but it's fucking yeah, scout planes. I mean, they're a lot of fun to use. They're very fragile too. You know what I mean? And I mean, rightfully
Yep.
so. But it's very like you spit on a scout plane and it has to go back. So you know, it's um,
I will
y-
say, like, getting back to what I was trying to get at
mhm.
is my distinct feeling is that I don't think I have seen any indication that scout planes are, or rather that planes have much relevance until late game. Like, for as much
Yeah.
as I saw an unhinged take in World Chat, the home of all of the like the best foxhole takes. Someone
Oh
said,
yeah.
"Oh, they're gonna push like scout planes to be late game because of how obnoxious they are," and I'm like, "Bro, are
Well,
we
that would
playing
just
the
take.
same game?" Like,
Well, yeah, I mean that'd be like, well, okay, where now we are putting fucking hacks or like Gemini, like you know what I mean, or we're putting like Icaruses, not Icaruses, but like you get what I'm saying though, right? Like it's, I mean, scout planes are obviously the
they're
most they're
obviously an early
relevant
game,
is
right?
early game, yeah. That I mean that's that. Like it's not once like what like fighters just like own fucking well, I say that, and then I saw a fucking warden fighter get shot down by a scout plane on fucking
I
Equipment earlier.
saw a warden fighter die to the Stilican ship.
Oh man, that's horrible.
Just it was some 82DK pilot died trying to strafe Jello. He had
Oh wow.
he had just a clip of just of a fighter come in, strafe him a little bit, and then just crash into the side of the ship. I could not. It was funny, but
Yeah.
no, I
No.
the the idea that like they're gonna make scout planes later game unlocks or whatever, kind of absurd to me because
Yeah.
I feel like I've not I feel like we're gonna have to wait till like tier 8 when dive bombers and
Mhm.
torps unlock for
True.
anything to happen with planes because fighters, what the fuck is the point of a fighter right now? Oh, you can go shoot down scout planes. Like
Yeah,
what?
that's really what they exist for is to counter other fighters and shoot down scout planes. And I mean, they're more
But
like
like,
okay,
yeah, but why? Why
you're
would you?
you're
It's such a
playing
waste until we get to the like bigger bombers
so
or like ground
m
attack stuff, right?
my thought process is that it's like you're pretty much paying right now in the war you're paying like rare metals and stuff like that to have a more efficient like a better scout plane in the sense that I mean it's better at strafing, and I mean you could argue the Warden 14.5, like the anti-tank gun on it would be, but that I think that's also like cope too. Like it's
It's
not really a 14.5, like it's not gonna kill like a tank in a single strafe or a half track or a fucking or an Ixion or you know what I mean, like a 30 millimeter tank
well,
in the
it,
past. So it's
it'll
like
it'll do fuck all against tier 2
yeah,
stuff. The thing that it really
yeah,
fucks up is stuff like the arty gun or a
yeah,
train, right?
yeah.
But I feel like they're so expensive that people just aren't using them for that,
No, I mean,
right?
like, and why would you? You know what
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean? Like, why would you? You're facing like a majority of colonial guns, arty guns that I've seen have been under like machine gun AA, and it's
And
like, okay,
flak, yeah.
and flak too. Like, it's people aren't going to want to risk that. I mean, maybe there are some fucking big dicked wardens out there who do want to risk their fighter planes, and hey, more power to you to keep doing that. But it's also like, I think a lot of people don't want to do that as well, just because they're afraid that they're gonna fucking like lose their plane and stuff too. And I mean, it's the thing is that planes are a little bit like battle tanks when they re-released, if that makes sense, where everyone was afraid to like lose them and stuff like that too right now because they don't want to be like
Yeah.
it. Yeah, but it's like I think as we get more and more planes, people are just gonna see them as another tool. You know what I mean? Where it's like, who gives a shit if it's gone or not too,
Kinda.
right? Because it's like
I sort of just feel like the biggest issue regarding planes right now is that there's just nothing for them to really do.
yeah,
Like, the problem, I feel like the thing that's very obviously missing is I feel like once the devs do the next follow up update where they add in the Warden dive bomber and the Colonial torp bomber or whatever, I feel
yeah,
like there needs to also be a light bomber. And I know that the Warden one was called a light bomber. Obviously, it wasn't. Anyone that looked at it and was like, oh, that's a light one. No, it wasn't. I think
yeah,
what needs to happen is both sides get like a light bomber, a genuine light bomber that is some kind of like slightly or like the same tier that the fighter unlocks, and it just spews out like seven of the new raid breaker bombs, just like 7 or 8 of
yeah.
those,
Well,
just all at once vomits them, right?
how powerful are those things too? I
1200
mean,
HE.
ooh, damn, yeah, those things do smack around a little bit there.
A
Jeez,
little bit, but
yeah, a little bit.
you kind of have to use a number of bombers if you want to get anything
Yeah.
done because they don't
Well,
target one spot, right?
they're sort of like rocket arty in that sense too, where it's like a
They're
shock and awe
premium. They're
kind of thing
premium
too.
rocket arty, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good way. The premium rocket arty,
I mean,
Foxhole Gold rocket arty.
if
Yeah.
you were around a year ago,
But,
this is sort of what I
uh,
said I was expecting. The second they revealed
mm,
planes, I was like, okay, so bombers are going to be like premium rocket arty, fighters are going to be like your like tank thing that you're using in the sky. Paratroopers are going to be like facility destroyer number 1. And
mhm,
I think that was like 90% of what I was saying was just like bombers are just like the whole role of planes is just going to be like these things that you use in a burst for a lot of effect at once, sort of like rocket arty is, but with like more of a cost, like a rare metal cost and yada yada yada. And that I feel like that's about what we got, right? But
yeah,
obviously I just there needs to be some kind of early game light bomber type thing that allows you to take advantage of like air superiority to actually get something done, right?
yeah. Really quick, Lick, I am going to stop you here. The episode is not over yet, but
Oh,
so
are you doing that thing?
yes, for you longtime Trench
Uh,
Talk listeners, all of our loyal fans, all three of you. No, I'm just joking. We so I used to, if you remember, I used to give away a month of Discord Nitro if people heard a secret phrase.
I told
The
him this
secret
was a dumb idea for
two
reference. Anyone?
two two lucky listeners. You'll get a month of Discord Nitro. Just DM me on Discord. The secret phrase for this week is Glorb Snort. That's going to be spelled GLORBSNORT. Glorb Snort. DM me on Discord.
I
And
thought you were saying they'd have to see you in game.
no, 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 no. They can. Well, no, no, no. That was more so like I used to have people send me screenshots of where we recorded the episodes, but
Oh,
once we
right,
start
right. That was
recording, yeah,
I'm right, yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But just DM me on Discord, and you'll get a month of free Nitro just for being listening to us, listen to Lek and I ramble on about our
I
nonsense.
I feel like this is something you should have done. You should have waited to see if we did a second episode for, but
Well,
who
hey,
knows?
it's locking you into doing a sec because I do want to
Uh
record more of these.
oh,
I
you
I am,
bastard.
yes, but oh, I'm a bastard now. Hear that? But no, yeah, So hey, just as a thank you for listening to us and everything here
I
too.
Yeah, anyway,
But
I'm really curious as to where the future of Foxhole lies, also, because I have a lot of ideas for things that they could do, and some people act like this is like the final update or something like that, and it's like, no.
no, no,
One,
I don't think it is.
planes, there obviously needs to be more planes, right? I
Yeah,
think that there's a very obvious gap. Like, I think we got a lot more I think some people were expecting less planes than we wound up getting, but at the same time, I also feel like sort of in the same way that medium tanks are, I think there just needs to be more vehicles because I'm not a fan of the very limited like level of vehicles. I think it'd be cool to have like a heavy fighter in the late game, maybe some kind of like
yeah.
earlier like I said a light bomber where you get like 8 raid breaker bombs and you just press a button and they all drop at once kind of thing.
Well,
Uh
there's plenty of crazy ideas that they could have like early jet fighters and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's very fucking like I don't know.
maybe maybe I'm very much of the mind that there is so much that could be done just on airplanes, but then there's
Yeah,
stuff that they could do like there's the obvious place that you could go where if you've already gone to the sky's the limit, well, I mean maybe there's more content to unearth, right?
yeah. Well, I mean, there's like ground to air shit too. Like, there's obviously very much a need for more mobile AA too as well,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
I guarantee you we're gonna see like AA half tracks and like AA heavy trucks and shit like that. And it's not like, or even like anti-aircraft tanks and shit. So it's not. I don't think this is definitely not the end for Foxhole. I think Foxhole is. I don't foresee Foxhole ending unless like something horrible happened to Siege Camp. Knock on fucking wood. I would never want
Yeah,
that to happen, but
that's
it's like, you know, but um
I I feel like here's the funny thing. I almost well, obviously their opinions are going to change once bombers happen and everyone learns just how devastating it is to have constant fucking everything's going to melt once bombers get out is the point I'm making, but I'm not a fan of this like current state where nothing happens with air before bombers slash paratrooper planes. It's
yeah.
very weird and doesn't feel quite right.
No, I get you. That makes sense. Yeah. I
Yeah,
understand completely.
I
Um
just I wish there was an equivalent to the sort of scuffed weirdness that is like early game ground where you got your Icarus, your Gemini, your fucking push 40s, your like yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that could happen, but
mhm. But yeah, there is a bunch of stuff that can happen. I mean, it's they said planes are never coming to Foxhole. Planes came to Foxhole, so it's like it's very much I'm very much like. And this war has like just hanging out with some of the my old buddies and shit and Sam and things like that. Like, the bug has definitely fucking bit me again. So it's like, I mean, this game, it's actual like crack, but um
I mean there's a reason I'm in,
it just
yeah.
yeah. But it's good, man. It's I'm looking forward to the future of Foxhole. Definitely. I feel like this update, as much belly aching people have done about turns and stuff like that, it's very like I think it's been good
I
so
think
far, and
the
I
the
think they've done a
biggest
very good job.
yeah, the biggest weakness of this update is just that there's honestly that there's not enough. Like, and
Yeah,
I know,
yeah,
and
yeah.
don't take that
That
as me saying I'm not appreciative of this is like the biggest update we've ever gotten. I just mean that in the sense of like the ground component of Foxhole is something that was developed over the course of 8 years.
yeah,
If people
yeah.
think that one update is enough to like match the same level of effort that was
Hmm.
taken across that much time, I think it's foolish. I think there's so
Yeah.
much like I think like they could easily double the effort in Airborne and still like come up short of the immaculate effort like and whatever you want to call it that went into the actual ground component and the what we think of as conventional foxhole, right? But
Hmm.
I I'm so okay. I've said light bomber. What do you think new in terms of new classes of planes? You said jet bomber. Is there another or jet
Yeah.
fighter or something?
Like early like jet fighters and shit like that that really like are like that sort of boom and zoom sort of like what people say there too. I think I do think eventually they are gonna add like probably like super heavy bombers too, like based off of like super late war planes and stuff. And I mean, I would not be surprised if they don't add like a way to like launch like nukes from planes and shit like that too, right?
I
Like
doubt
I
we
would not be
get
surprised.
I doubt we get launched nukes from planes in terms of because that would just be a
Well,
little bit absurd. But I think it would be interesting if there were in fact a slightly heavier bomber that was like 50 raid breakers or
yeah.
some kind of new like or maybe it would drop like breach 250 or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, that'd also be pretty good there too. I mean, it's also there's quite a bit that could be done there. And maybe it's not like it has the launch like the same impact that rockets have, but maybe I don't know that it can devastate or destroy like garrison houses even faster. Or not even garrison houses, but like permanently destroy like certain facilities and stuff like that. But are very fucking expensive to create and launch. But I don't know. There's a lot of different things that could be done. I agree with you. Heavy fighters are probably going to be a thing too. I'm not really I'm not really too familiar with like what like with World War II planes or anything like that, or like just old school planes in general.
I will
But
say
yeah, I do.
a big thing if you've played much of it is the the standard bomber is very much weak to the current fighters. So I think if
Yeah,
they were to do like heavy fighters, they'd need to have some new, like you're saying, new heavier fighter or heavier bomber to justify
yeah.
it. I think like the extent of what they could do with bombers is super heavy bomber and light bomber. Like in
Well,
addition to the current bomber, that's about
one
it.
thing too is I do foresee there being like a feat like logistics airplanes too and shit like that. The pair like I mean because they've
I
talked
mean,
about
there
like
already is.
amphibious tank.
There already is a
Well,
logistics airplane. It's called the paratrooper plane.
Well, more so that like to drop like actual supply drops, like crates and shit like that, in the back line for paratroopers to like build, or even like paradrop like CVs and shit, or paradrop like you know what I mean to make like those operations a little bit more extended,
Yeah, yeah.
too, if that makes sense. And to also like I don't know to be able to like drop like paradrop like light tanks and shit like that too behind enemy lines, or like have a specific like paradrop tank for both factions and things too. Just because I mean you know, but what do you think about? Okay, I'll ask you this. So some of the new uniforms I am not a huge fan of. Um,
The
I'm
pilot
not gonna lie
uniform.
to you. No, the pilot uniforms are fine. I do not like the colonial naval uniform.
Oh,
It's
oh,
not.
that's what you mean by
You
new.
look like
No,
yeah.
you're not
Well,
alone
yeah.
in hating it.
It looks like a
I don't.
fucking Boy Scout uniform, man. Like you know what I mean, dude? Like it's not.
I
I don't know.
I don't have
Not much.
strong opinions on it, but I don't like. I do
Yeah,
naval, but I don't main naval,
yeah.
and you're not wrong that I
Well,
don't feel as strongly, but
mhm.
I know some
The,
people really don't like it.
I will say the Warden naval outfit is drip as fuck. I like it. I like it a lot. The pilot uniforms are pretty cool. The Colonial Paratrooper uniform, I was expecting a little bit like more like 82nd Airborne-ish, like Band of Brothers type look, but I mean it is cool regardless with the beret and everything too. And then I don't know how I feel about the Warden Paratrooper uniform. It's not super drippy or anything in my opinion. It doesn't look it's not like great looking, but I don't know. Maybe there are some people who disagree there with me, but yeah,
Uh,
I
I
think
know
they
that the
nailed the
colonial
pilot
one looks
uniforms though.
baller, the colonial
Yeah,
paratrooper.
the beret is pretty cool, but yeah,
I'm very much I'm very much excited to see how the rest of this war plays out because I
Hmm.
think I think this could go either way at the moment, and we will see, because I think everything changes with bomber tech, but we don't get bomber tech for a while, right?
Yeah.
With with naval unlock, it's going to be interesting because I'm sort of expecting wardens to be primarily just spamming out naval, and colonials being
Yeah.
on the defensive naval wise. So while colonials have a little bit of momentum at the moment, from having taken the like our island, I'm not necessarily expecting that momentum to last the rest of the war, because I'm expecting tier 7 or 8 or whatever wardens get their frigates out. Then you'll probably see frigates trying to do shit in Endless Shore, in Fingers, in the like eastern continent, as well as in the
Yeah.
west. And with with torpedo bombers, you're gonna not see any colonial like large ships to counter. It's mostly just gonna be on dive bombers to counter, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
yeah, we'll, depending on like, is the warden seep fighter like still gonna be oppressive as fuck? Is it gonna like? There's so many questions I
no.
have regarding that, and then I think colonials are gonna be on the back foot until bombers, and then bombers, it's gonna be such a like just who can do crippling damage to the
More
enemy
bombers.
first.
Yeah. Yeah.
But not
I
even
do
because of
think.
bombers. I think mostly because of
Yeah.
paratroopers. Like bombers
Yeah.
will matter. Bombers will matter for the front line more than they will for the back line. Whereas paratroopers are
Hmm.
going to be what are like going
Well,
to do a shit ton of damage. I think
yeah.
long
I
term.
mean, just them nuking fucking facts and shit like that too. You know what I mean? Or just nuking different like things on pads, or like even taking out like rockets and stuff too. Are gonna be like really, really like I don't know, like dude,
Wait, are you? Oh fuck. Are you aware of the
like
rocket changes?
yeah, where rockets are like they're player built structures now.
Okay,
So it's
yeah,
like
but you
yeah,
don't build them
they
in your back line.
you build them on front lines now.
Yeah, they have a
That's
limited
fucking.
range.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and I mean even more so. So that probably means that you know what I mean. They're not going to be as heavily fortified in shit too, right? So it's like I don't know.
I'd argue they'd be more heavily fortified because
You
the
think so?
what on the front line?
On the front, well, yeah,
You kind of have
I guess fair enough.
you
Yeah,
should
that's
look
true.
the 126, the war that they added breaching and they changed storm
Mhm.
cannon mechanics. That was a massive war. T3C made like 20 fucking nukes, and we just sort of like
Oh
carpet
wow,
bombed the entire warden backline with them. And there was a
Jesus.
brief moment. Colonials built a defensive rocket in Westgate. Wardens built
Hmm.
two aggressive rockets in Farinac in order to like break through. And then Colonials showed up with like it was like a double RSC op to take for like a mega coalition effort of like every big coalition pushing all to like kill that. And those sites were very built up, right? The only
Hmm.
the thing is though, if bombers were unlocked, I would expect bombers to be totally capable of shredding those bomb sites or those nuke sites, right?
Yeah, that's true because they can just fly over. But yeah, I mean, you kind of have to. The thing is though, is that I think people don't like taking like material losses too. But I think for that, people are gonna just have to like suck it up as well. You know what I mean? Just with like
Trust me, the
fighting
gear
sports. Like,
fear is way less than
yeah,
you think it is.
is it really? Okay.
The big reason, the big reason there's gear fear around like fighters and stuff right now, I'd say, is just because there's nothing good to target, right?
Yeah,
If
fair
there's a
enough.
nuke site, if someone builds a fucking nuke, people are not going to be worried about losing a bomber trying to
A
take it
bomber.
down,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. Fair
It's a
enough. Yeah. Then that's
nuke.
actually. Yeah, that's a very
It's
good point.
you
Actually.
would have
Yeah.
to lose
Yeah.
like 10 fucking bombers for it to suddenly be not worth it.
Be. Yeah. Certainly. Okay. And I mean, even then, it just stops you from fucking like. Yeah. I know what you mean. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Now I'm inclined to agree. That
yeah,
that
and
that
then
makes.
even
Yeah.
and keep in mind, even if you did sack 10 bombers, you wouldn't think, "Oh, well, we've already lost 10 bombers, I'm not going to try anymore." You'd still be trying to, because assuming you get it with the next 3 bombers, it was technically worth it for those next 3 bombers. and because that nuke is probably targeting something that you don't want it to hit, right?
Yeah,
Like
you don't want them to make a breakthrough or anything there too. That makes sense. Yeah.
like the material losses start to matter a lot less in the late game,
Hmm.
and I'm sort of just like I said, I think everything, the whole war kicks off once, like, because I don't know if you're aware. You remember the average war length. You remember when War 100, 55 days long. That was absurd,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. That was fucking. Yeah. That was tough.
The war that I'm describing, the 126, that
Hmm.
was 69 days long.
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, a full 2 weeks longer than than like the
Jesus.
previous longest war. It was
Yeah.
it was a month and a week long. Like
Hmm.
9 weeks. 9 weeks of Foxhole.
Yeah. 9 9 weeks of Foxhole. No,
Bro,
fuck that, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. Oh, jeez, that's fucking. That gives me a headache just thinking about that, man.
I
Holy crap.
I think yeah, that's probably a good spot to end it.
Yeah.
But no, like I said, I very much thank you for coming back to us, Mr. Fonzie.
Of course. Of course.
Good to see you around. Good to see
Mhm.
you're in good health. I hope you're in good
Thank
health. I
you.
think you're in good health.
I very much. Yep. I very much am. Life has treated me well.
That
So.
is very good to hear. And
Mm.
I hope the rest of I hope this recording didn't corrupt or I didn't
Yeah,
fuck
that would
something
suck.
up. Two, I hope the viewers say the same. Um, but yeah, I very much it's gonna be like because I'm assuming because we're what 2 weeks in what's today?
Today
We're
is
8 days into this war.
it
Like
is yeah.
if
So
people like I bombers are gonna unlock in like within a week or two. And then even then, if it goes as long as War 100, there's going to be another month left, right? A
yeah,
month post bombers. Like I don't people have seen one face of Foxhole. They ain't seen what real Foxhole looks like yet.
yeah.
But
No, yeah. It's gonna be it's definitely gonna be a long one. I don't think it's gonna be I don't think it's gonna be very short.
it
But
might be,
yeah,
but
who
I
knows?
well,
Maybe
actually no. I'm not even I'm not even gonna bless that. There's no way this goes short unless
yeah.
there's like a mass casualty morale aside.
Well, Easter on Great Warden Dam. That's all I'm saying. But fuck, man, that's like weeks away too. So never mind. That's not short. But
Yeah, we're only
already,
February 16th. Like
yeah. I don't even know what day Easter's on. So that's.
I don't know. Is it in March?
I don't know. But
Isn't
okay,
it in April?
let's see here. When is Easter?
This is the quality
Sunday,
content you come to
April
us
5th.
first.
Yeah,
Okay, it is
exactly. Yes,
April. This is the
it is
quality
April.
content you
See,
come
yeah,
to us
it is
for. All right.
indeed. All right.
Thank you everyone for listening.
Yep.
Bye bye.